Hello my men's, thems, and womens. Welcome back to Lesby Libby, the show where I am still on the internet. So, some of you guys may remember my other animation process video, and since its final season, to take that video concept from months ago and to...
Yeah, Phil, run it back.
So we're doing another animation breakdown. Yippee! So the first question to think about is, why? So as I mentioned in my previous animation breakdown video, this is all for my animation class, so I was forced to lock in for a grade, which is probably the only reason why I got them done instead of being in motivation hell for weeks. But the first thing for this project that we need is the criteria. So the exact criteria for the assignment was to, quote, "For your final project, you will need to create a sequential animation that tells the story of your character experiencing a typical day. This project brings together all the skills you've learned this semester, from storyboarding and character design to animation principles and post-production. Your animation should be 15 to 20 seconds long and consist of 3 to 4 scenes showing your character doing different activities throughout their day." So with all that, we have to make the characters.
Wow, so this is the capital, huh? Stick with me. We're really gonna show them how pissed off we are.
So first, we need some context. I've been a fan of Ellie Mae for a while, however, I've been a huge fan since the teasers for Popping Skittles came out, and I've been down the rabbit hole ever since. And I felt a massive connection to their music, specifically his most recent album, 1,000 Songs About It All, Act 1. But the opening song, My Only Sense of Purpose, is by far the one I connect to and love on such a deep, deep level. So I've been wanting to work with that song for a while. And what better to do it with than my very own Sona? So now we have one of the characters, but what's the other one? So within the song, there are two, you could say three, but that's a completely different video to make, and if you want it, you should get in the comments! Voices throughout the song. Elio and the public pressures to be a good performer, with lines like, "No time to waste, gonna be late for fate. You know what they say about bright flames, gonna burn out, they're gonna replace you, replicate, AI generate you." Or lines like, "You're her, but you're not her. No, you can't take a day. You're our brightest flame. No, you can't change your name. You're our brightest flame." Illustrating how cruel the music industry and public pressures can be. So coming up with a character design for that can be a little tricky. So at first, I wanted to play on some comedy and tragedy masks, but since I'm a huge Little Circus fan, I thought it would be too close to Gangel's design, so then I wanted to do this 3 little weird-eyed goblin thing to represent the eyes of the people, the eyes of the label, and Elio's anxiety. Then that didn't kind of work out, so I pivoted again to just the 3 eyes. And then once more to this little guy with wings, and then I was asked if it was a fairy, and I said, "No, it's a masculine winged creature." But then I kept the design because it worked, and I was tired, and I just wanted to get to work. So let's get to work. So I'm going in order of sequences I finished instead of chronological order, and the first I finished was the waking up scene. I knew that I wanted to start out with a waking up scene because of the lyrics, and the pan-up shot was kind of the first of its kind I've ever done. Then there was the lip sync, I don't even really want to call it that, and I didn't really do it. I was relying heavily on editing the clips, and this clip had to be sped way up because I was working too slow. We also need to talk about the layers. So if you don't know, on Procreate there's a layer limit per canvas. At least as far as I know, the largest layer is on a square canvas. So I almost exclusively work on a square canvas. And trying to do big animation projects on one canvas is going to be a huge challenge. So I already knew that I had to break it up over into multiple canvases, and I'm happy to say I only used 4 canvases. Yippee! So now that that's good, we can move on to the next scene. Hi, Editing Livy here. So apparently I completely forgot about the what I call collapse scene, which is the transition into the mirror scene, which is the second that I got done and second in well, technically third, in sequential order. And I don't know how I forgot about this when I was script writing and when I was recording. So I'm just here to break down the clap scene a little bit. So at that point, I already had the design nailed down, and I was just trying to figure out how the timing was going to work. And I'm actually pretty proud of it because I've never done anything like that at all. So like I mentioned earlier with all of the layer stuff, it was really difficult to span out, and this one was the only one that I had to copy, that I ran out of layers while sketching, and I had to copy and paste it over to the other thing. So that's not amazing, but it's fine. But I'm pretty proud of this whole scene. I really like my sparkles because I'm dumb. I love sparkles. And it's, again, the only of its kind I've ever done. As you can see here, over here, I'm like doing a going up and down test for the candle. And I love how my hands disappear. I love how I don't like drawing hands, because that's partially why I have a lot of like gloved characters. I also, the arm coming down was originally like a lot longer, but I cut it down for one size and for two because it was just taking so long. Like, it doesn't need to be that long. And it kind of looked like a pinwheel, like you like, you know, when you like, not a pinwheel. No, it kind of looked like, when, fuck, what is his name? The SpongeBob guy was like doing the live performance, and it like, spun his hand. Hold up, I'll put a clip in here. I just thought of that while recording.
SSI am ready, is about to set sail. This kind of day couldn't get much better, but it keeps on trying. Yeah.
That to say, I'm pretty proud of this scene, and I love the fact that the arms are so skinny. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I'm just really proud of this, and it's the only type of scene like this that I've ever done, and this was actually my favorite part while animating, because it was just so much fun. I would say my favorite part would either be the opening, or it would be this part. My favorite part, how it came out, was the first one, which is the nightmare scene, and my favorite animating would be this scene or the mirror scene. Anyway, Norma Livy, get back to you. Sorry, I'm super off script. Yay! Anyway, so next up is the mirror scene, which is the mirror scene. I had an idea for the mirror scene after listening to the song for the first time, so I just kind of had to overlay that image of my head into my Sona instead of Elio. The animation here is very lazy. It features a lot of teleportation instead of proper smear framing or moving, but I still kind of like it. It's simple and it gives the illusion nicely, and that's basically it. Next is the dream sequence. So I've always loved dream sequences. And I was like, oh, what if the lights in the crowd of the circus turned into teeth that comment on the parasitic nature of the spotlight? That'd be a cool idea, I guess. One issue I came across with was the opacity of my white. So when you have a lowered opacity, you can't have lines cross without it becoming more opaque over top of it, which makes more sense in hindsight because I'm stupid, so but it's really good to know for next time. But yeah, there isn't a lot to say here. I like the concept, and that's it for this section. Now, am I ever going to color this? Probably not. Could I have pushed the animation harder? Yes. Could I have buttoned it up or done things differently? Yes, but overall, I'm pretty proud of this animation. And I do think that I learned a lot, and I'm just glad that I got a good grade. Oh, what the fuck?
What the dog doing?
Do you like the new talk sprite? I do.